On the front lawn of the White House, after making a joke about the erection of 2 flagpoles, the president was asked about whether he was minded to strike Iranian nuclear facilities.
I may do it, I may not do it. I mean, nobody knows what I'm going to do. I can tell you this, that Iran's got a lot of trouble, and they want to negotiate. And I said, why didn't you negotiate with me before? All this death and destruction.
As Trump spoke, the US aircraft carrier Nimitz was steaming to the Middle East, loaded with as many as 5,000 personnel and more than 60 aircraft, including fighter jets. 30 aerial refueling tankers have also moved to the Middle East to give the president options. Iran's supreme leader says any decision by the United States to bomb nuclear facilities would risk all-out war. Back home, the Prime Minister has been chairing a Cobra meeting as Britain withdraws families of embassy staff in Tel Aviv in Israel, while thousands remain stranded both there and in Iran. In November 2020, because, Trump was told at the time, a strike on Iran would result in a broader regional conflict, Trump decided not to go there. This afternoon, he might. Should the president strike Iranian nuclear facilities? Simon Marks is LBC's Washington correspondent with the story of the afternoon. Simon.
Well, Tom, amid all the talk about the importance of tapered flagpoles at the White House, there has been more drama taking place in the Middle East. America's ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, within the last hour has put a message out on the social media platform X. He describes it as an urgent notice. American citizens wanting to leave Israel. The U.S. Embassy in Israel is now working on evacuation flights and cruise ship departures, he says, and he provides information about how Americans living in Israel can get more information and register for those evacuation flights and cruise ship departures. That is a fresh indication that we may be about to see escalation in the conflict. The president was asked directly, is he going to join Israel's military strikes on Iran and allow those American B-2 bombers to drop their 30,000-pound bunker-busting bombs, the most powerful non-nuclear weapons in America's arsenal, on Iran's nuclear sites? As you heard, the president wouldn't reveal his hand. He might do it, he might not do it. It's not as though the future of the world is hanging on his decision. He did reveal that the Iranians made a big move within the last couple of days, reaching out to him and suggesting something that, until now, had been completely unthinkable.
I don't know, there's a big difference between now and a week ago, right?
Mr. President, you said you just about said we may meet. Is this about Vance and Witkoff possibly going to talk with him?
It's about anybody. They even suggested they come to the White House. It's a big difference. But they've suggested that they come to the White House. That's, courageous, but, it's like not easy for them to do.
And he said it's not easy for him to go to Iran, which was interesting because that's the first indication we've ever had to back up reports earlier this year that he quite fancied the idea of travelling to Tehran, emulating the moment when he became the first ever US president to set foot on North Korean soil when he held those talks with Kim Jong-un during his first term in office. So the president was asked, what is he looking for now? He cited a very pointed message that he published yesterday on his social media platform.
Two very simple words, very simple, unconditional surrender. That means I've had it. Okay, I've had it, I give up, no more. Then we go blow up all the, all the nuclear stuff that's all over the place there. No, they had bad intentions. For 40 years they've been saying death to America, death to Israel, death to anybody else that they didn't like. They were bullies. They were schoolyard bullies. And now they're not bullies anymore, but we'll see what happens. Look, nothing's finished until it's finished. War is very complex. A lot of bad things can happen.
It ain't over till it's over. He also made a bit more news, suggesting that he might be getting a little sharper in his handling of Vladimir Putin. The Russian president called Donald Trump yesterday and offered his services in mediating a solution to the Iran conflict. And this time round, the president saw him coming.
And I spoke to him yesterday and I said, he actually offered to help mediate. I said, do me a favor. Mediate your own. Let's mediate Russia first, okay? I said, Vladimir, let's mediate Russia first. You can worry about this later.
An attempt by Vladimir Putin to distract the president's attention away from the conflict in Ukraine. And on this occasion, Tom, only it didn't work.
Simon appreciated. Simon Marks, LBC's Washington correspondent. Hear him at 7 o'clock tonight on LBC. Dr. Efrat Sofer joins us, security analyst and chair of the Board of Advisors at the Esri Center for Iran and Gulf States Research. Really appreciate your time. Thank you for coming on the programme.